With the president's new tariffs mean it'll likely have a wide impact on Texas, from small mom and pop businesses to large corporations. So let's bring in Will Anderson. He's the editor-in-chief of the Dallas Business Journal. From what you've been able to gather from economists and speaking with some of the business leaders here, what is the overall mood right now?
So we've heard a lot of concern, right, as you'd expect. So Texas is a major trading partner. It's the biggest state for trade in the country. And DFW might not have a port, but there's tons of, commerce happening that goes across across borders. I think in particular what I've heard is the kind of broad nature of these tariffs causes a lot of concern. Because if you think about it, for example, a lot of people would say maybe these tariffs will stimulate domestic manufacturing of things we need, like chips, things that are important to national security, computer chips. So think about TI, that's building a giant multi-billion-dollar plant up in Sherman. Maybe this can help them if there's a shift to more reliance on domestic chips. But this is an across-the-board tariff where, well, TI has to get some of their components from overseas. Yeah. GM, which makes cars here, they assemble cars in America. They have to get parts from Mexico, parts from overseas, parts from other places. So they're going to be impacted as well, even though they are producing stuff here. So the wide-ranging nature of the cuts has caused a lot of people concern.
And obviously the TI component was already underway, but when you talk about maybe automakers or other companies bringing production back to the U.S., I mean, that's a long-term play. You don't just simply open a new auto factory at the drop of a hat. Yeah,
so some short-term pain for consumers. You can expect prices to start rising, right? Inflation probably coming back. It depends on the product you're buying, but some economists say 3 to 5% price increases on top of inflation you can expect for a lot of things. But again, it depends on the product. So those effects being felt immediately.
And where do you think folks are going to see it? Where will it be felt most acutely, say, here in DFW?
Yeah, I think that we've heard from, restaurants, things that source from overseas that you might expect, like avocados. There's some meat and agriculture products that we get a lot of from Mexico and overseas. Real estate is a huge element here. The home building boom that we've talked about before here, they get a lot of lumber from overseas, from Mexico or Canada and other places. So real estate is definitely an area that's going to be impacted. And I think that also, technology, telecommunications, things that are major drivers in the local economy can also expect to see a hit.
What about family maybe thinking about remodeling their home? Is this a time to push through? Is this a time to get the materials in-house or wait it out?
If you were trying to time it right, your window's almost closed, maybe. Okay. So the time to do it would have been before the tariffs went into effect.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Been speaking with the editor-in-chief of the Dallas Business Journal. I encourage you to read more about the tariffs' impact on North Texas on the DBJ's website. Will, thank you again. A lot of good insight there.